family wants to thank you all for coming out in this occasion, honoring our sister, our mother, our aunt, Sheilah Lewis. We have a short program today. The family wants you to know that the reason we are not having the body here today is because we are going to send her home. So she's preparing for her trip home to North Carolina, where there will be a full service there. So we wanted to give everyone an opportunity to pay their last respects here, and I'm sure others will be coming in and going throughout this time period. So the agenda that we're going to have is, first we're going to read the obituary, then we're going to have comments from anyone who wants to come up, starting with the family, and then after that, her brother Stephen Millet will close us out with a few words. I'm Sonia Millet. Sheilah was my sister-in-law. I met her about 3 years ago when she came to Milwaukee, and ever since she's been like a sister to me. She and I had a great time going to yard sailing. At first when she started going, she was just thinking of the immediate, and I said, Sheilah, one day you're gonna need an apartment. Now, once I told her that, there was no stopping her on what she could buy. She had everything ready before she moved into her apartment because she just loved to shop. And if anybody knows Sheilah, she could find a bargain anywhere. So we had a great time going back and forth shopping and so forth. So with that, I'm going to bring up her niece, correct? Latoya Millet, to read the obituary.
Thank you, Sanji. So as she mentioned, I'm Sheilah's niece. My name is Latoya Millet, and I'm going to do the obituary. If you have not picked one up, you can pick one up in the back of the room. Sheilah Millet Lewis was born December 29th, 1959 to Daisy Mae Gallo and Alphonse Millet in Springfield, Mass. She attended classical high school and went on to receive her Bachelor of Science from Chowan College with cum laude honors. Sheilah spent most of her life in Murfreesboro, North Carolina, working as an accountant. In 2017, she relocated to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She was employed at the Social Development Commission through the Greater Wisconsin Agency on Aging Resources. Sheilah was preceded in death by William Fred and Daisy Erlene Vaughn, grandparents, Sevilla Gallo, sister, William Earl Vaughn, uncle, Dennis and Michael Powell, cousins. She leaves to cherish her memory, her parents, Daisy Gallo and Alphonse Millet, her 3 children, Victor, Stephen, Shamika, and Candace Lewis, her 10 grandchildren, Victor Jr., Jabria, Antoine, Amani, Stephen Jr., Cameron, Deshaya, Demir, Devea, and Edward. Her 8 siblings, Stephen, Sanji Millet, Karen Shodeke, Kevin White, Renard, Debbie Gallo, Debrice Gallo, Janina James Foy, Keith Millet, and Michael Barbara Smith. Her aunts and uncles, Lily V. Powell, Laura White, Emma Vaughn, Sharon Vaughn, and Joe Millet. And her special niece, Adriana Gallo, and a host of other nieces and nephews, cousins, and friends. We, the family of our beloved mother, grandmother, sister, niece, and aunt, would like to thank everyone for the expressions of love, compassion, and friendship shown during our time of bereavement. Thank you, your prayers, thoughts, visits. Thank you for your prayers, thoughts, visits, cards, and calls. We ask that you continue to keep us in your prayers and thoughts. Just a really quick reflection about my aunt. I spent time with her in the summers when she would bring my cousins, Candace and Stephen, up to visit with us in Massachusetts. That's where I lived, and we would go to town. We would go everywhere. We were always in the streets, as you call it, and she just was so fun and full of life, but stern. You know, we couldn't cut up too much with her, but she just always had so many so many pieces of advice, so many things she wanted to share. And I remember her in that way, and I remember all the time we spent with her, and the time she spent just teaching us things, and I really appreciate that, and I want to thank you all for coming.
Thank you, dear. I know y'all know that Sheilah was an avid Patriots fan. I have to make sure I say that right. And she would watch the football game with Stephen and I, and you couldn't even hear the commentator because of all the comments that were going on with Sheilah. So we almost had to ban her to another room so that we could at least hear what was going on. But we still enjoyed her nonetheless. All right, is there anyone who would like to come forward and tell a story or say something about Sheilah?
So Sheilah was my mother, and I just wanted to speak on the entire family's behalf. We live very far away, so we were unable to fully be here to celebrate her life here, but I just wanted to paint a full picture of my mom. My mom valued family, and she valued education. She loved the Patriots as well. But to be around my mother, you would love my mother. She always did a good job of, trying to smile and laugh through everything, and I like to think that that's where I get that from. But she truly loved her family and her grandkids, and my son loves sports too, so I would text her updates about how he's doing in different in games and things of that nature. So one of the last voicemails she left about him was about, I'm ready to see him playing NFL one day. But she truly loved her family, and I'm thankful that of where she was while she was up here and the strides that she made to better herself and to get healthy and all of those things. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who's here, who loved my mom while she was here, who worked with her, who knew her, and I just want to, on behalf of the family, just thank everyone for coming and for loving my mom while she was here.
God bless you, dear. My husband's gonna have to help me with this name first. Her best friend's name, the one who sent the text? Elsiana. Okay, so Elsiana wasn't able to make it, and she had sent a text this morning, and she wanted us to read that. She said, Sheilah, she talked fast, and I would always have to ask her for what she said. And we both would laugh, and she was repeating it all the time. She loved the color teal. She loved a bargain sale and loved to shop. She was always ready to go. She was the driver, and I was the passenger driver. She drove, and I informed her of the lights changing from red to green, where to turn, the speed limit, etc. The two of us made a good driver. She learned how to get around in Milwaukee and was fearless in doing so. She had me and Carol going to a salsa dance event one night. I didn't get in until midnight that night. Sheilah was the youngest of the group, but we were all on the dance floor, believe it or not. She loved to pick up extra hours for that next adventure. She loved bananas. She loved cabbage. She never missed a meal, even though she had to eat gluten-free food. She loved her family very, very much. Gone too soon for me to digest, but I know it is in God's plan. God helped me to process Sheilah's passing. I am glad our paths crossed. I will miss you, Sheilah. I will think of you when I pick up extra hours. I'm at the grocery store buying bananas, at home cooking cabbage, and out shopping. But hey, on the other hand, you will be right there in spirit beside me. Now I won't have to have you paged if we get separated at IKEA. Again, you will be greatly missed, and I know you have touched many lives in a positive way and have let God use you in his plan. You are now with the Lord, where there is no pain or sorrow. Your friend, Elsie.
Hi, everybody. My name's Olivia. Sheilah, well, my auntie Sheilah is my aunt. I just wanted to say that I'm really grateful I got to spend our last Christmas together. My family knows I don't really like holidays, but I got to spend there. A lot of people were out of town, and Daddy's her family up here, and he was gone, so I spent the holiday with her. And we just talked, and she knows I don't know nothing about sports, so we didn't talk about sports, but we just talked about her job and just how you treat people, and there's a way to do things, and I don't know, I've never felt so grateful to be to be a part of this family, and I didn't grow up with my dad's side of the family, but when I do it, it's wow, I come from good people, so. And she really helped me realize that, and I'll just always be grateful for that Christmas.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good afternoon. My name is Ella Dunbar, and I work at the Social Development Commission where Sheilah was employed. And I didn't work directly in the department with Sheilah, but I would interact with her often and see her in the break room. And she was always so pleasant, and she would always have feedback that would be just what I needed to hear at the time, and her professionalism was always evident. She interacted with guests to the building and with the coworkers within SDC in a professional way, and it was so refreshing to work with her. And she would always be a person when I go into the break room, it's where, I'm glad she's here. I got someone I can chat with. And we're going to miss her at the Social Development Commission. I was sharing earlier with another coworker how, or he shared with me that yes, she was a Patriots fan. So, and today we have from the Social Development Commission, one of our board members, George Matthews, is here as well, and co-worker Scott Scherer, and we're going to miss her professionalism and just being a good person. Sometimes we take for granted being around a good person, and Sheilah was one of those persons who was a good person, and I enjoyed working with her. Thank you.
Anyone else? So before I turn it over to her brother, the family would like you to know if you'd like to contribute to her burial fund, there is a GoFundMe page that has been set up. And if you would like to do that, please see one of the family members and give us your email address, and then we can email you the link to that, okay? And with that, I'm going to turn it over. Is there anyone else? I'll turn it over to Stephen.
Good afternoon. Sheilah, my sister. She and I had an interesting journey growing up. She was a year and a day older than me. And so my mom always saw fit to throw us a party after Christmas. You know those Christmas babies don't get that second gift. But she and I shared that day year after year, and we moved all over the country. We were both born in Massachusetts, and right after I was born, we were moved to North Carolina to live with my grandmother. We stayed there about 5 years. My mom had finished nursing school up in Connecticut. She came and picked us up and took us back to Massachusetts. It was a happy time. Within 2 years, we were back in North Carolina. We were there a good year and a half. Then she moved to Suffolk, Virginia. And many of you may know my mom had some mental challenges. She was schizoaffective, meaning she was paranoid, schizophrenic, and bipolar at the same time. And she had a severe breakdown. While we were living in Virginia, and she called my dad, which was in California by then, still in the Air Force. So he came and picked us up. And off to California we go. First ride on the plane, we were very excited. We got to California, met his new wife, started school out there, and life continued to change. My dad got divorced, and my mom flew out there, and next thing I know, we were back living with my mom and her new husband. And we had 2 more brothers and sisters, Renard and Breeze. And life was okay, and then that marriage didn't last, and we ended up with Sheilah, myself, and by then we had added a baby sister. And Sheilah was coming into the teenage years, and her and my mom weren't seeing eye to eye. Things didn't work out. So, off to Massachusetts, she was shipped to live with my dad. One of the toughest days of my life. Because although life changed quite frequently, the one constant was my sister. And now she was 3,000 miles away. This is before cell phones and FaceTime. So she was just gone. It was one of the hardest days of my life. And along the way, she had gotten married, had 3 children, and didn't spend a lot of time with her, but stayed in touch. I would often visit in North Carolina. And I wound up here in Wisconsin, and she was in North Carolina. And she had went back to school, but while she was in Massachusetts, she had gotten pregnant early in life, at 16. And her and my dad weren't getting along. So she opted to move out at 16. She had her own apartment. So whenever she was absent from school, she'd write herself a note. And she was catching the bus, she was going to school, she graduated on time, and she started going to college. Catching the bus, going back and forth and working became hard on her. She wasn't able to finish college. But she was a manager of Friendly's, which was an ice cream sandwich shop, very popular on the East Coast. She worked her way up from a waitress, cashier, manager, supervisor, till she had her own store. Sheilah was doing very well. They loved her at Friendly's. Life got hard again. She got divorced. That was a bad situation, and she went back to North Carolina, where my grandmother, my mother were there. And she got herself back in school, and that's when she graduated with her Bachelor's of Science, cum laude. Sheilah was very brilliant, smart. I admired her. She was an athlete as well. And as life would have it, things got hard, and she had some struggles, a lot of medical challenges. And she decided to come out here with me and Sanji and the kids, and she came and stayed with us. And during the process, she got her own place, got her job, and was doing very well. We were very happy with the progress Sheilah was making. And what I can tell you, the last few years were some of her best years. As you say, she loved yard selling. She could make a bargain. If something cost $2, I said, go pay for it. She said, no, I can get that for $1.50, so I'll offer them $1. And she'd get it for $1.50. And she really enjoyed yard selling. And with her friends, she'd go to the movies. And one of the things I'm really grateful for, she helped my wife and I in our business. We're motivational speakers and life coaches, and whenever we would have events, she would work the book table, she'd take the registration. When we were doing our online classes, she would work the computers for us, responding to the questions and things that were coming in. She was one of our biggest cheerleaders. It's my sister. You know, we were together at the beginning, we were together at the end. I love my sister dearly. And Candace and Stephen and Victor, you know, just being Uncle Steve is a privilege and an honor. You know, she did good. She raised 3 well-adjusted adults. I'm very happy and proud that they call me uncle. They call me when they need something, as they should. But it's my pleasure because they're doing what they need to. They're raising their families. And as they talked about how Sheilah loved family, and they always talked about how she loved the Patriots. And with them winning several Super Bowls, she was hard to deal with. Because she always told you what was going to happen. But we had a time watching the games, and I'm rooting against them, and she's rooting for them, and I come up on the short end and change the subject. But that was my sister. We love her, and we're thankful for what she's meant in our lives. And one thing that I've always said is that you never lose a person. You never lose the experience that you had with them. You never lose what you learn from them. And you never lose the way they made you feel. Sheilah always made you feel welcome. And she was helpful and kind. That's my sister. And I love her dearly. And I'm done.
Well, that's our little program. We'll be here for a little bit if you'd love to come up and say some words to us personally. It has been a pleasure being a sister-in-law. She was my favorite sister-in-law. I got a couple others, but don't tell them that, okay? So thank you very much for coming in and sharing this moment with us. And rest in peace, love.